Welcome back to Winning in the Workplace on Talk 107.3 FM. Gordy Rush along with Maurice Velasquez from Team Real World. Segment 2 in our ongoing discussion about alignment. How do companies get aligned? And, Maurice, we're talking about getting aligned and also increasing employee engagement.
Right.
That's our topic
That's right.
here.
That's right. There's no other way to slice it. If you want employees to get engaged, you have to create alignment from the top down.
All right.
And it's a domino effect. It works the other way around. If executives and managers get aligned with each other, it creates an environment in which staff will get engaged.
All right, so the fact that people are so disengaged at work is because everyone, especially the leadership teams, are simply not aligned.
Yeah, they're not aligned and they're making decisions without talking to their staff, which we'll cover in the next segment. But yes, that's part of it. But at the very core of it is you have to have alignment at the top, which creates alignment in the middle, which creates engagement at the staff level.
So how do we get aligned? I know we'll only have time to cover 2 today, but
yeah,
how do we get aligned
right.
and engaged?
So you and I right now are enjoying the fact that the LSU Tigers are at the World Series Finals, right?
Right.
I mean, it's pretty exciting. All right, we're going to see them take the trophy home. So let me ask you this question: do you think that they practice how?
Every day.
Every day.
Sure.
Right. All right. And so what would happen if they said, "Well, you guys, we're going to practice on Monday, okay, from 11 to 4." And then somebody says, well, I really can't be there. I'm not going to be there until Tuesday.
No, doesn't work.
Why not?
Doesn't work. You get out of rhythm. You're out of sync. You're out of rhythm. It reminds me of golf a little bit.
Okay,
if I don't hit balls every day, even
right.
if it's for 15 minutes, then I lose that tempo and rhythm.
Let's apply it to a marching band.
Okay, let's do that.
Let's do a marching band. All right. What if a marching band? So guys, practice is after all classes are out. We're going to meet in at the stadium at 4:00 to 5:30, and we do that on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Mm-hmm. And the trumpet section says, we'll show up on Fridays.
Yeah.
Okay, the point is clear, okay? You can't really create alignment if people aren't willing to show up at the same time to where they come together and practice on how to be a team.
So you got to meet on a regular basis.
You have to meet on a regular basis.
Who's got to meet on a regular basis?
Different groups,
okay?
But let's just start. Let me just say this, okay? Is the number one rule of alignment is teams have to be committed to meet each other regularly once a week. Now, some teams will get in just minutes, some teams meet longer than others. But if I want to be aligned with you, then there has to be a meeting in which we show up regularly, and it is religious every week. Okay, so let's get into the question of who. Okay, there's 3 levels in the company.
You got it.
Okay, you got the executive level, you have the middle managers, and you have the frontliners. It's interesting, Gordy, how I visit with a lot of companies and a lot of executives, and the executives know and understand this. They just don't have the discipline to meet with each other on a regular basis and have substantial, good, crucial conversations to talk about the whole of the business. They want to talk, they want to meet, but somehow it just falls apart. And then, you know what? It's just not worth it. The CFO goes one way, the CEO goes a different direction, the director of operations, you know what I'm saying? It just falls apart. And then it's left up to everybody to kind of chase each other and make things happen. But there's not a discipline to talk, so therefore they're not as aligned. Then they have to resort to email, hallway conversations, a meeting here, a meeting there, and then everybody gets filled with meetings that don't really go a long way because not everyone's in the same room to talk about what needs to be talked about.
So I'll put this to you: it obviously discipline means making it a priority.
It has to be,
and not getting caught up in the stuff. So how do you come in from the outside and make it a priority?
Well, everybody has the same time as I do. Everybody understands that 10 o'clock is 10 o'clock, and we're going to meet from 10 to 11:30, and it happens on Monday, and there's a commitment to showing up. The breakdown in communication, Gordy, is not so much a breakdown in what happens in the room. It's the breakdown of not showing up and not coming ready to talk.
So you got to get people to
You
the
got
table.
to get people to agree. Look, guys, we have to make a good shot at it. Let me ask you this: you've seen I forget which race it was just recently. All right, car race, pit stop, NASCAR, Formula One. Okay,
Yeah.
those guys, when they go for a pit stop, they're waiting for the car to arrive, right? And within seconds, 4 or 5 seconds, that car is out of there. How do they get there, in and out within 4 seconds?
Well, they practice it over and over again.
Okay,
Sure,
so
but they've had experience.
But
Right.
what do we do in the workplace? A bad meeting happens. Do we practice again?
No, you learn from it and hopefully
But we
meet the next time.
we normally don't do that.
Oh, right.
We get frustrated.
Right.
Oh, such and such don't know how to run a meeting. Such and such didn't show up late. Showed up late. Such and such is on their cell phone. Such and such hogged the whole thing. The other person grants it. We don't have an agreed way in which we're going to engage each other because everybody brings their own style, their own habits, and no one says, "Hold on, guys. We know how to have a meeting. If we don't, let's get somebody in here that can teach us how to have an effective meeting," which is what we do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting, Gordy. Our biggest hurdle is not so much teaching them how to have a good meeting. It's getting them to show up.
It's just getting the show up.
It's
you
just
feel,
show
yeah,
up.
Okay, so
Because
getting them to show up and commit.
I mean, yeah, so much of our workbook is spent on the commitment to create the rhythm to show up at meetings. And the consistency of that is what forces everybody to say, fine, if I'm going to show up here for an hour and a half every week and I'm going to be told that this is top priority and that I have to block time in my schedule to do this, then we better make this a good meeting. Okay, when everybody gets to that point of realization that I'm going to be sitting here, now we're talking. Now we're committed. Now let's talk about what does it mean to have a good meeting, which we'll cover in different segment, how to actually have the good meeting. But so much of it is lost that people just don't show up. They show up late, or when they do show up, they're all looking at their watch. I want out of here.
Yeah.
Why? Because I don't want to be here. I know you said 11 to 12:30, but I don't want to engage with you for an hour and a half. So you know what? Can we just get through the agenda fast? And so again, I come back. I know sometimes I sound like a broken record on the importance of this. It's first you have to have a commitment to a rhythm and to a block of time that says we're going to meet for an hour and a half, talk about the whole of the business. And then another question is, yeah, but who meets?
Right.
For example, if you have 300 offices scattered through 3 states, right? Well, then the district manager of Alabama needs to sit down for at least an hour a week with the branch managers. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Why? Because they need to discuss the whole of their business. They don't need to talk about what's happening in Mississippi. They need to talk about what happens in Arizona. They got to talk about the whole of their business. Now, what about the national directors who perhaps oversee 5 states? And those states have, one representative. Well, each national director meets with its reports underneath them for what? Perhaps an hour, a week? And they talk about the whole of their business. Now, some people are probably listening and going, yeah, but I don't have 300 people, man. I have like 12. Okay. How many sales reps do you have? Well, we have 1 sales rep and a sales manager. How often do they meet and talk about the whole of the business as it relates to sales? You see what I'm saying? You just have to ask everybody, is everybody have a place to go to align with their supervisors so they can talk about the whole of the business?
All right, so real quick, we'll give it a minute here to wrap this.
Sure.
Who meets with whom? If you were to define the 5 groupings.
Executives need to meet with each other.
Okay.
Number 2, executives and the management team need to meet with each other. All right.
Gotcha.
Then the managers meet with each other as a group without the executives.
Gotcha.
Then the managers meet with their supervisors, and then their supervisors meet with their staff.
All right, so 5 people
Yeah,
there.
and the most important meeting of those is the one that you find least in companies, and that is the managers meeting with other managers as a group without the executives.
No,
That's what true leadership is built.
Gotcha. No, what happens now? You just listed 5 meetings, and some of those you've got 3 people.
Yeah.
3 groups of people meeting, a group of people meeting 3 times a week. What if they say there are too many meetings? What do you come back with?
I come back with saying then we probably need to cancel the ones that are not effective. Keep the good meetings. You know what? Let me just ask you this: How many times do you strike out?
Oh, plenty.
So what? Stop batting
No, you keep batting.
and learn how to do what?
Do it right. Hit
There
the
you
ball.
go. Same thing.
Okay.
You keep meeting until you realize, you know what? We can cancel some meetings because those meetings are strikeout meetings, and then get good at certain meetings. And it's incredible, Gordy, how this just happens when you start having this rhythm of good meetings. things begin to happen because you're making aligned decisions on a weekly basis.
All right. We'll continue with our next segment, but right now, help us out. What can
Sure.
executive managers do right now to help their team?
Oh, there's three things we're encouraging everybody to do. First of all, every month we offer a complimentary 90-minute breakfast for business owners and managers to learn how to assess this and how to use the alignment model. Second, to have us come in and meet with your executive team and your managers and have that discussion with your group for about a good hour and a half, help us understand your meeting. And third, for business owners to attend our one-day boot camp with one of your managers and come and learn how to do this in a one-day exclusive session on how to learn the steps on being able to implement this.
We've talked about you advise if you're going to send one person, send two.
Send
At
two.
least
You
they
got
can
to
feed
send
off
two.
each
You
other a
really
little
do,
bit.
and preferably if it's two at different levels, an executive and a manager.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Now you've got group discounts available. If I do want to
absolutely.
send two
For
or
every
more people.
second person, 50% off.
And also, if you'd like to call in,
yeah.
first off, give us the contact information.
Sure. Contact Maurice at teamrealworld.com or call me at 225-772-4357. That's 772-HELP.
And if they mention they heard it right here on this program,
50% off every second person you bring to the workshop.
all righty. We'll be back with more. You're listening to Winning in the Workplace on Talk 107.3 FM,